They were best friends for 7 years, practically sisters. Every podcast, every party, every post, Brooke Schofield and BB were side by side. But now, they're not even following each other on Instagram. Brooke's name is missing from BB's tag photos. And fans, they're freaking out, because this isn't just a petty social media moment. It's the fallout of a friendship that went from vacations and inside jokes to a public meltdown over a boat, a fired assistant, and a drink spilled on a pair of designer shoes. And if you thought that was messy, wait until you hear what Tana Mongeau had to do with it. Because this story, it's not just about Brooke and BB. It's about betrayal, blurred lines, and the moment everything changed. Live on tour. From clapping back on TikTok to shade-filled birthday gifts, this is a drama that's been brewing for months. And now it's all unraveling. So what really happened between Brooke and BB? Why did they fall out after all these years? And was their friendship always built on something shaky? Let's break it all down, because this isn't just another influencer feud. It's the total collapse of a friendship, and nobody saw it coming. It started with a quiet unfollow. No dramatic announcement. No cryptic post. Just two girls, who used to be inseparable, suddenly not connected online. Fans noticed it fast. Brooke Schofield and BB were no longer following each other on Instagram. And if that wasn't enough, BB went a step further. She removed Brooke's tags from every old photo they had together. Gone. Wiped clean. People started speculating. Was this a glitch? A mistake? Maybe a reset? But as the internet does, it didn't take long to dig deeper. And what they found told a very different story. Because these two weren't just online friends. They were real-life besties. BB had been by Brooke's side through the wildest parts of her life. Touring, podcasting, living in Tana Mongeau's chaotic orbit. The kind of bond that felt unbreakable. Until it broke. And it broke quietly. Until fans realized something else. The tension didn't start with the unfollow. It started with a boat, not a metaphor, an actual boat. And from that moment on, everything spiraled. This wasn't just any fight. It was a slow-motion disaster hiding behind Instagram smiles and podcast mics. And strangely, it all started with one thing, a boat. During the canceled Podcast Europe tour, Brooke made a decision she would later regret. She hired BB to be her assistant. Now, that might sound chill in theory. Who wouldn't want their best friend tagging along on a glamorous trip across Europe, getting paid to vibe and help out? But it was a terrible idea. Even Tana said it. On the podcast, she literally laughed and said everyone knew it would be a disaster. Behind the scenes, they were already joking it'd turn into Bad Girls Club, Europe edition. And surprise, that's exactly what happened. Brooke had one ask during the trip, book me a boat. That's it, the one thing she was excited about. She didn't care what kind of boat, or where. Just a boat, sun, water, peace, whatever. But BB, she couldn't make it happen. Excuses started piling up. The website wasn't in English. There weren't boats available. She didn't know which one Brooke wanted. Every time Brooke asked, she got a different reason why it hadn't been done. And then suddenly, boom, Tana books a boat, effortlessly, casually, like it was nothing. And that's when Brooke snapped. Because this wasn't just about a boat anymore. It was about being ignored, about being embarrassed, about watching someone else, Tana, step up and do the one thing her supposed best friend couldn't. And to make it worse, everyone went on Tana's boat. Brooke didn't even get to have her moment. But that wasn't the end. On the boat, things got even worse. BB left her drink on a seat. Brooke stood up, and it spilled all over her expensive leather shoes. Instead of apologizing, BB hit her with, "Well, why would you stand up if the drink was there?" It was petty. It was loaded. It was the kind of sentence that ends friendships. Brooke was furious. She made a scene. She later called it a full-on meltdown. And with nowhere to escape, literally stuck in the middle of the water, the tension just kept building. The boat trip turned into a passive-aggressive disaster. BB and Brooke kept switching spots, running to the front and back of the boat to avoid each other, whispering insults, eye rolls, frozen smiles. From the outside, a pretty gondola ride. On the inside, Bad Girls Club and designer sunglasses. And even though Brooke laughed it off later, calling it a dumb fight, something had changed. The friendship had a crack, and it was only going to get worse from here. Hiring your best friend as your assistant never ends well. And Brooke found that out the hard way. Because once the laughter and luxury wore off, the dynamic between Brooke and BB shifted into something uncomfortable. What started as a fun trip quickly turned into micromanaging, missed expectations, and a silent battle of who owes who. On the podcast, Brooke admitted she fired BB, and she didn't sugarcoat it. She said it just wasn't working, that BB couldn't follow through on basic tasks. And sure, she still loved her, but business is business. The firing wasn't dramatic. at least not publicly. No yelling, no scenes. But it hit differently because it came with layers. This wasn't just losing an assistant. It was letting go of someone who was supposed to be family. And Tana, she wasn't exactly subtle about it. She laughed during the whole segment, casually saying, "What did you expect?" Like the whole thing had been doomed from the start. Even worse, Brooke said it was Tana's idea to hire BB in the first place. So when it all went south, Brooke was left holding the bag, while Tana shrugged it off. It wasn't just a misstep, it was a power imbalance. A friend trying to be a boss, a girl who wanted help, but ended up feeling betrayed. And Brooke tried to rationalize it. She said she just wanted someone fun around, someone who wasn't just an assistant, someone who could make her laugh while still handling the logistics. But BB couldn't do both. And when she couldn't even book a boat, the one thing Brooke asked for, that's when the reality hit. They weren't in sync anymore. And once you mix money, responsibility, and ego into a friendship, it's almost impossible to go back. While Brooke was sharing her side of the story on the canceled podcast, BB was staying quiet for a while. But then the internet did what it always does, started clipping the podcast and posting it all over TikTok. Suddenly, BB's name was trending in comment sections, and people were speculating everything from professional betrayal to petty jealousy. So BB jumped in, and she wasn't having it. In one comment, she fired back. Didn't get fired, by the way. "I said I didn't want to do it again for the Australia tour." And then she dropped the real bomb. "We got into the first fight we've ever had in 7 years of friendship." That's the kind of line that stings, because it reminds you just how close they used to be. One fight, one blowout, one drink on a boat, and suddenly, years of trust are dangling by a thread. BB also shut down the idea that she was avoiding the conversation. "I wasn't physically there for the podcast to defend myself, but I already have, babe." Now fans were confused. Who was telling the truth? Was BB blindsided by Brooke going public? Or was she deflecting to save face? People started pushing harder, asking why BB was sharing so much in the TikTok comments instead of calling Brooke directly. And that's when things got even messier. BB claimed they weren't fighting at all. "I'm just saying my side," she wrote. "These three talked publicly about me without me there." That part hit different, because this wasn't just a friend responding to rumors. It was someone who felt ganged up on. Worse, fans started pulling up old drama between Brooke and BB, things from before the assistant fallout. And what they uncovered made this friendship fracture look a lot more complicated. This wasn't their first fallout. The Brooke BB friendship might have looked unbreakable on Instagram, but behind the scenes, this wasn't the first time things had gone cold between them. A while back, BB actually stopped talking to Brooke completely, and it had nothing to do with podcast tours or boat drama. According to BB herself, it was because she moved across the country and started dating someone Brooke didn't approve of. That's it. No big fight, no betrayal, just a silent standoff over who BB chose to love, and Brooke's quiet disapproval. And even though they patched things up after that, it planted a seed. A feeling that maybe Brooke had trouble letting BB grow outside their friendship. A hint of jealousy, a subtle power dynamic that would eventually explode. So when this latest drama went down, the assistant fallout, the tour fight, the TikTok clapbacks, fans started asking a bigger question. Was this really about spilled drinks and missed bookings? Or had the friendship been strained for years, quietly breaking down over relationship choices, emotional dependence, and unspoken resentment? Because here's the truth. Brooke admitted, on camera, that she's a jealous friend. That she gets nervous when BB gets into a relationship, especially with a girl. Why? Because she fears being replaced. She even said it out loud, that if BB ever started dating a girl, she might never want to hang out with Brooke again. That's not just insecurity, that's emotional territoriality. It's the kind of tension that doesn't explode all at once. It just simmers, quietly, for years, until one day there's a boat, and then, it's all too much. Now here's where things go from messy to personal. Because the girl BB is now dating? Yeah, it's not just anyone, it's Lauren Sanderson. And if that name sounds familiar, it should. Because once upon a time, Brooke had a crush on her. That's right, before BB and Lauren were a couple, Brooke had feelings for Lauren. And those feelings didn't just sit quietly in the background, they actually helped spark another huge fight, years ago. Here's what went down. Back when Lauren first entered the group, Brooke admitted she was into her. But one night, things took a turn. Tana and Lauren ended up in Tana's room together, and Brooke lost it. Even if nothing physical happened, the tension exploded. Brooke felt betrayed. She thought something was going on. And just like that, things spiraled. Brooke and Tana clashed hard, and it all went public. That moment, that triangle, nearly ended Brooke and Tana's friendship. And now, years later, Lauren's dating BB. The girl Brooke once crushed on is now with her best friend. And sure, Brooke tried to play it cool. She said on the podcast she was happy for BB, that she was excited because Lauren was someone they all loved, that it didn't bother her. But let's be real, it bothered her. She literally admitted she was apprehensive about BB dating a girl. Not because of the relationship itself, but because she was afraid of being replaced. I always thought if BB got a girlfriend, she'd never want to hang out with me again. That's not just anxiety, that's deep-rooted insecurity. That's fear of abandonment wrapped in passive jealousy. And it explains so much. It explains why Brooke snapped so easily on tour, why a missed boat triggered such a massive emotional blowout, why the spilled drink felt like betrayal instead of just clumsiness. Because deep down, she wasn't just mad at BB for messing up a trip. She was mad that BB was growing away from her, finding love, building a life, choosing someone else. And that someone else just happened to be the girl Brooke once wanted for herself. Coincidence? Maybe. But emotionally, devastating. By now, the Brooke and BB fallout was already a full-blown mess. But somehow it got even worse. Because just when things started cooling down, another player entered the chat. Tana, Mongeau's best friend, Ashley. Now, Ashley has never been subtle about her feelings toward Brooke. Fans have picked up on the shade for months. Cold energy, side-eye moments, that awkward tension when they're in the same room. But then came Ashley's birthday gift to Tana, a customized Guess Who game filled with the faces of all their closest friends. Cute, right? Until you look closer. Everyone else in the game had flattering, slay-worthy photos, perfect lighting, perfect angles. Everyone looked iconic. And then there was Brooke. Ashley chose a ridiculous, blown-out forehead photo of her, completely unflattering and clearly meant to humiliate. A visual punchline, the one square on the board that screamed, "We don't mess with her." The moment was caught in Amari's vlog, and when fans saw it, they immediately clocked the shade. It wasn't just a joke, it was calculated. It was on brand with Ashley's low-key contempt. And suddenly, people started asking, why would Tana even accept that gift? If Brooke is really your friend, why are you laughing at this? The deeper question, has Tana always chosen Ashley over Brooke? Because while Tana plays neutral in public, her silence in moments like these speaks volumes. When your bestie gives you a birthday gift mocking another friend, and you smile and post it, that's not neutrality, that's complicity. And for Brooke, who already felt isolated after the BB fallout, this wasn't just a petty photo. It was proof that maybe she wasn't really part of the group anymore. By now, the writing's on the wall. Brooke and BB aren't just on a break. They've disconnected, unfollowed, unspoken, and maybe unrecoverable. Sure, Brooke has said she can't stay mad at BB for long, that they've fought before, that it's all just stupid drama. But actions speak louder than podcast quotes. The unfollow, the missing photo tags, the fact that BB blocked her completely, that doesn't scream we're fine. That screams we're done. And BB, she's not exactly rushing to fix things either. She's with Lauren now. She's posting her own truth in TikTok comments. She's setting boundaries, even if they come wrapped in shade. Because here's the real story underneath all the boat drama and birthday gifts. Brooke and BB were more than best friends. They were emotional safety nets, each other's anchors, ride or dies. But when life started changing, when business mixed with friendship, when relationships formed, when power shifted, neither of them knew how to handle it. Brooke clung tighter, BB pulled away, and that space between them, it filled up with resentment, jealousy, misunderstandings, and unspoken wounds. This wasn't just a fight. It was a slow, silent breakup, the kind that hurts more because no one cheated, no one backstabbed, no one did anything wrong. They just stopped being what they were. And in the influencer world, where friendships are broadcast like reality TV, that kind of drift hits different. Because now it's not just between them, it's a spectacle. Every like, every unfollow, every comment, analyzed, screenshotted, weaponized. And maybe that's the saddest part. Because behind the podcast clips, the vlogs, and the chaos, two people who once meant everything to each other are now just digital strangers. So was it really about a boat? Or was it years of tension, jealousy, fear, and quiet heartbreak finally boiling over? Was BB wrong to walk away? Was Brooke too controlling? Or were they just two people growing in different directions? One thing's for sure, this wasn't just a friend fight. It was the collapse of a connection that defined both of them. And now, they're just another reminder that sometimes, even the strongest bonds don't survive the spotlight. Let me know what you think. Who was in the wrong here? Was this friendship always doomed? Or could it still be saved? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories like this, where nothing is ever as perfect as it seems on social media.